Captain Elias Rowe stood on the edge of Dock 7, watching cargo droids shuffle crates into his aging ship, the Wayfarer. The spaceport buzzed with life. Traders yelling prices, engineers yelling at machines, children chasing small cleaning bots. Elias preferred this kind of noise. It was honest, unlike the quiet he carried inside. He had lived on the edge of space for years, moving goods between fringe colonies. No wars, no orders, just fuel, food, and the stars. Life was simple, and that's how he liked it. But on that particular morning, something changed. A figure stepped out from the crowd. She was tall, graceful, and her skin shimmered like a clear blue ocean. Her long, silver cloak flowed behind her, and her black eyes locked onto Elias with purpose. She didn't walk like she was lost. She walked like she'd already arrived. Elias narrowed his eyes. Alien travelers were common here, but there was something familiar about this one. "Captain Elias Rowe?" she asked, her voice calm but firm. "That depends who's asking," Elias replied, crossing his arms. "I am Arinya," she said. "You saved me once, 20 years ago." He blinked, caught off guard. He searched her face, tried to remember. Blue skin, silver cloak. Nothing clicked, until a memory bubbled up from the back of his mind. A planet in flames. A broken dome city. And a young girl with blue skin, trapped under fallen steel. He had been a young soldier back then, far from the tired cargo pilot he was now. He had lifted the beam off her and carried her to the evac ship. She had said nothing then, just stared at him with wide, frightened eyes. "You were that girl?" he asked slowly. "Yes," she nodded. "I have not forgotten." Elias let out a low whistle. "Well, you're a long way from that battlefield. What brings you here?" She looked him straight in the eyes. "I have come to collect my debt." Elias raised an eyebrow. "Debt? I didn't ask for anything in return." "But a life saved cannot go unpaid," she said, "and now I need your help." He chuckled and shook his head. "I'm just a cargo runner now, no wars, no hero stuff." Arinya stepped closer. "I don't need a hero. I need a pilot. One who knows how to survive where others do not." "Where are we going?" he asked, already knowing he was about to say yes. "To the grave silence," she replied. Elias frowned. The grave silence wasn't a place. It was a warning. A dark part of space where no ships returned. No charts existed for it. No signals escaped from it, only rumors. "Why there?" he asked cautiously. "There is something sleeping there," Arinya said. "Something ancient. My people sealed it long ago. But the seal is weakening. I need to find it before others do." Elias looked away, staring at the stars above the port dome. He had lived his life avoiding the past, avoiding trouble. But here it was, trouble with blue skin and a memory that reached across decades. He sighed. "You're lucky I'm curious. And maybe a little foolish. So you'll help me?" "I'll take you there," he said. "But after that, we're even. No more debts." She smiled, and for the first time it wasn't the calm, serious expression she wore like armor. It was real. Grateful. "Agreed," she said. They boarded the Wayfarer, and Elias gave her the guest cabin, the cleanest one, though that wasn't saying much. He watched her run her fingers along the walls, as if she could feel the ship's memories. "You remember anything else from that day?" Elias asked later, as the ship's engines warmed up. Arinya sat in the corner of the cockpit, looking out the window. "I remember the fire," she said softly, "the fear, the sound of falling steel, and I remember your arms lifting me." Elias looked at her, surprised. "I didn't think you even saw my face back then," he said. "I did," she replied, "and I never forgot it." The ship lifted off, engines humming low. As they broke through the planet's upper atmosphere and entered space, Elias couldn't shake the feeling that this journey would change everything. Something about her calm voice, her steady eyes. It was like she had seen the end of the road and still chose to walk it. The stars stretched before them, quiet and waiting. And in that silence, Elias wondered, not for the first time, what exactly he had rescued all those years ago. The stars outside the ship grew fewer as the Wayfarer moved deeper into space. Elias Rowe sat in the pilot's seat, one hand on the control stick, the other tapping a worn-out mug of cold coffee. Beside him, Arinya stared at the navigation screen, her dark eyes focused. "This part of space is empty," Elias said, frowning. "Too empty. It's not natural. That's why they call it the grave silence," Arinya replied. "Even the stars avoid it." Elias gave a short laugh. Comforting. Their ship had crossed the outer rim of known space hours ago. The navigation system began to show blank screens. No satellites, no colonies, no trade beacons, only darkness ahead. "Any idea what we're looking for?" Elias asked. "Yes," Arinya said softly. "But the answer is not on your maps." She walked to the back of the cockpit and opened a metal case. Inside were glowing crystal shards and a small silver device. She placed one of the crystals into the device and it began to hum. "This is an echo stone," she explained. "It holds the memory of my people." Elias watched as the device projected a faint image into the air. It showed a planet floating in space, then zoomed into a black crater with a shining gate at its center. "What's that?" Elias asked. "The Gate of Holding," Arinya said. "It was built to contain a machine mind, an old enemy of my kind. We sealed it away thousands of years ago, but now the seal is weakening." Elias leaned forward. "Why now?" "I don't know," Arinya answered. "But if it breaks free, it won't just destroy my people, it will spread through the stars, including yours." Elias whistled low. "Then we better find that gate." As the ship pushed forward, strange things began to happen. Lights flickered. For no reason, the ship's music system turned on by itself, playing an old Earth lullaby. Once, Elias heard footsteps in the hallway, but found no one there. "Is this normal?" he asked Arinya, after the third time the lights blinked. "It's the effect of the silence," she said. "This region bends space and thought." Elias didn't like the sound of that. He checked the radar, still nothing. Suddenly the ship shook. "Something hit us," Elias shouted, pulling the controls. Arinya held onto the wall. "We're being scanned, not attacked." Elias frowned. "By what?" She pointed through the front window. There, floating silently, was a giant black object. Smooth and shaped like a giant seed, it had no engines or lights. It was just there. "That's a sentinel," Arinya said. "One of many. They guard the path to the gate." Elias didn't move. "Do they shoot?" "Only if they sense fear," she said. He gave her a hard look. "I'm human. I always have fear." Arinya placed a hand on his arm. "Then hide it." The sentinel drifted closer. A beam of light scanned the ship, moving from the engines to the cockpit. Elias held his breath. The ship creaked, and for a second he thought they were done for. But the light vanished. The sentinel drifted away like a leaf in space. Elias exhaled. That was close. "We passed the test," Arinya said. "The gate is near." As they flew forward, the ship's windows began to glow. Not from outside, but from within. A soft blue light coated the glass, showing symbols Elias had never seen. They floated like water. "The gate is calling me," Arinya whispered. "It knows I've returned." Elias adjusted the controls. "Then let's answer it." Soon a shape appeared in the darkness, a massive ring miles wide spinning slowly in space. It was made of silver and stone, ancient and quiet. In the center of the ring was a black hole, not a real one, but a hole in space itself. "That's it," Arinya said. "The Gate of Holding." Elias stared at it. "That doesn't look friendly." "It's not," Arinya said, "but it's the only way forward." They brought the ship close to the edge of the gate. Strange energy began to wrap around the hull. Elias felt his hands grow cold. Arinya placed her glowing crystal into the ship's core panel. "We need to unlock the inner path," she said. As the crystal melted into the ship's system, the ship started to respond. Lights formed on the gate's surface, spinning in a pattern. The gate slowly opened, revealing a path of glowing stones across the black space. "Ready, Captain?" Arinya asked. Elias smirked. "No, but let's go anyway." With a deep hum, the wayfarer entered the gate and the stars behind them disappeared. The passage through the gate of holding was unlike anything Elias had ever experienced. Space seemed to stretch and fold around the wayfarer, and stars became streaks of light rushing past the windows. The ship vibrated softly, humming with an energy that felt both old and alive. Elias gripped the controls tightly, feeling a mix of excitement and unease. "Feels like we're flying inside a dream." Arinya sat beside him, her blue skin glowing faintly in the dim light. "This is the path to the Vault of Echoes," she said quietly. "A place where my people stored their memories and knowledge long ago." "Memories stored in a vault?" Elias raised an eyebrow. "Sounds like a storybook." She smiled sadly. "It's real. More real than you can imagine." After what felt like hours, the ship came to a slow stop before a massive structure floating silently in space. It was a giant sphere made of silver metal and crystal. It pulsed with soft light, as if breathing. "This is it," Arinya said, standing to look at the vault through the cockpit window. "The last hope of my people." Elias studied the vault. It looked beautiful but strange, like a star trapped in glass. Suddenly, alarms sounded throughout the ship. "What now?" Elias asked, jumping up. Arinya rushed to the control panel. "The vault's defenses are activating." "Defenses? Against who?" Elias asked. "Anyone who tries to enter uninvited," she answered. The ship shook as a force field surrounded them, blocking their way in. Elias frowned. "Great, just what we needed." Arinya touched a panel on the ship, and the crystal from before began to glow brighter. "I can try to communicate with the vault." The humming light on the vault pulsed faster. Then a voice echoed inside the ship, not loud, but clear. "State your purpose." Elias looked at Arinya. "What do we say?" She hesitated, then replied, calmly, "We come to protect the legacy, to prevent a threat from waking." The voice paused. Then, verification required. Arinya's hands moved quickly over the controls, sending pulses of energy into the vault's field. Suddenly, the force field flickered and faded. "Access granted," the voice said. The huge metal doors of the vault slid open, revealing a dark tunnel glowing with soft blue light. Elias swallowed hard. "After you." Inside, the tunnel walls were lined with thousands of small crystals, each shining with a faint light. "These are the echoes," Arinya said. "They hold the memories and spirits of my ancestors." Elias touched one gently. The crystal felt warm and alive. As they walked deeper, a holographic map appeared showing the history of her people, their rise, their wars, and the great machine enemy they had defeated long ago. "Those machines wanted to control everything," Arinya said. "They were merciless." Elias nodded. "Sounds familiar." "The vault holds their last warning," she continued, "and the power to stop them if they return." Suddenly, the ground trembled beneath them. "Not good," Elias said, gripping the wall. Arinya's eyes widened. "The Veltrax are waking." "The Veltrax?" "An ancient machine race," she explained. "They destroyed worlds, erased cultures. We sealed them away here." Elias looked at the map again. Red dots blinked across space, spreading fast. "We don't have much time." A bright light flashed ahead. They reached a large chamber, where a glowing sphere floated above a pedestal. It pulsed with energy. "This is the core of the vault," Arinya said. "It controls the seal that holds the Veltrax." Elias stepped forward. "How do we keep it safe?" Arinya touched the sphere, and the room filled with a soft hum. "The core responds to our energy," she explained. "If I connect, I can strengthen the seal, Elias studied her. Will it hurt? It will change me, she said. But I have no choice. Before Elias could protest, she placed her hands on the core. Light flowed from her fingertips into the sphere. Her body glowed brighter and brighter until the room was filled with blue light. Elias shielded his eyes. When the light faded, Arinya stood silently, her skin shining even more vividly. The seal is stronger, she whispered, but now I am bound to the vault. Elias felt a mix of awe and worry. Bound? What does that mean? I will protect this place, she said, softly. But I cannot leave it freely. Elias shook his head. There has to be another way, she smiled faintly. You saved my life once, now I protect the future. The ship trembled again. Outside, the stars seemed to darken. The Veltrax won't wait, Arinya said. We must prepare. Elias looked at her determined face and nodded. Then let's get ready. Together, they began to make plans to face a threat older than most stars, one that could challenge everything humanity and her people had fought to protect. The air inside the Wayfarer felt heavy. Elias Rowe sat quietly, staring out at the empty stars beyond the vault. The blue glow from Arinya's skin lit the cockpit softly, casting strange shadows. We can't stay here long, Arinya said, her voice calm but urgent. The Veltrax will come. Elias nodded. So what's the plan? Arinya turned, her eyes serious. We need to warn others. The machines are waking faster than we expected, and the signal that's stirring them isn't natural. Elias frowned. What do you mean? Who's sending the signal? Humans, she replied. Elias blinked, surprised. Humans? Yes. There is a station called Ashfall, deep in human space. Some people there are trying to use Veltrax technology for themselves. Elias rubbed his chin thoughtfully. That sounds reckless. Why would anyone do that? Power, Arinya said simply. They believe the machines hold secrets that could give humanity an edge in the galaxy. But they don't understand what they are waking. Elias's fingers tightened on the armrest. We have to stop them. Arinya nodded. But it won't be easy. They set course for Ashfall Station, a sprawling human outpost near the edge of controlled space. The journey was long, but the Wayfarer moved steadily through the void. During the trip, Arinya shared more about her people's history. They were called the Lurans, an ancient race who could bond with energy and stored their memories in crystal forms like the ones in the vault. The Veltrax nearly wiped out the Lurans, she explained. They are machines built to consume organic life and knowledge. Elias listened carefully. Sounds like a nightmare. It is, she said. And if Ashfall's experiments continue, the nightmare could spread. As they neared Ashfall, strange energy pulses began to interfere with their systems. Navigation flickered and sensors went haywire. Veltrax interference, Arinya said grimly. Elias tightened his grip. Show me the station. Through the viewport, the station came into view. It was massive. Metal arms reached out like claws with huge chambers glowing inside. Looks like a fortress, Elias said. That's Novaspire, Arinya replied. A faction of scientists and mercenaries pushing limits for power. They docked quietly at a small cargo bay. Inside the station, security was tight. Elias and Arinya used forged papers and disguises to move as researchers. Elias felt old memories stir, the weight of danger and secrecy. But this was different. This wasn't a battlefield. It was a gamble with the future. They reached the lab, where Veltrax cores were kept, black pulsing machines resting in containment fields. Look at them, Elias whispered. Like sleeping giants. Arinya studied the machines carefully. They are more than machines. They are minds. Suddenly, alarms blared. Security breach, a voice echoed. Elias grabbed Arinya's arm. Time to move. They sprinted through narrow corridors, dodging guards and automated drones. The station's systems went into lockdown. Elias found a control panel and hacked into it, opening a path to the core chamber. Arinya linked with the station's systems using her energy bond. I'm trying to calm the cores, she said. But the cores began to pulse violently. A surge of energy exploded, shaking the whole station. Eject, Elias shouted. They rushed to the escape pods. Elias shoved Arinya inside one and followed. The pod shot away just as the station began to collapse in a controlled explosion. Floating in space, Elias looked at Arinya. Did we stop it? She nodded slowly. For now, but the danger is far from over. We'll need to warn the rest of the galaxy. Arinya smiled faintly. And that is why I came to you, Elias. Because humanity must choose. Will they be the destroyers or the protectors? Elias stared at the stars. For the first time in years, he felt hope. We'll prove we can be better, he said. Together, they set a new course, toward a future where humans and Lurans might stand united against a threat older than stars. The stars outside the Wayfarer flickered softly as the ship sped toward Ashfall Station again. Elias Rowe's hands rested lightly on the control panel, but his mind raced. The last visit had been close, too close. The station's reckless experiments with the Veltrax cores almost destroyed everything. Arinya sat quietly beside him, her blue skin glowing faintly in the low light. She had grown stronger since merging with part of the vault's energy, but the burden weighed on her. Her eyes were sharper now, always watching, always thinking. We can't let them continue, Elias said finally. Not if it risks waking the Veltrax. Arinya nodded. Novaspire is more dangerous than before. They know what they're doing, but greed blinds them. Greed is humanity's oldest problem, Elias replied with a tired smile. But so is hope. They approached the station's orbit with caution. This time they had more help, a small team of trusted allies from nearby colonies who believed in their cause. Together they planned a covert operation to stop Novaspire's experiments once and for all. The ship docked at a maintenance bay on the outer edge of the station. Elias and Arinya led the group in, disguised as engineers. Their hearts pounded. With every step, the station was a maze of corridors, humming machines, and blinking lights. Everywhere, signs warned of high-security zones and dangerous materials. The team moved swiftly, avoiding patrols and cameras. Finally, they reached the core lab, the heart of the Veltrax project. Inside, several cores rested in containment fields, their dark surfaces pulsing with power. "This place feels wrong," whispered one of the allies, a young technician named Mara. Elias agreed. It's a prison for something that should stay locked away. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the lab's speakers. Unauthorized access detected. Security lockdown initiated. The team froze. Arinya's eyes flashed. We must act quickly. She moved to the control panel and began interfacing with the station's system. Her hands glowed as she sent waves of energy into the circuits, trying to override the lockdown. Elias guarded her back, his senses alert for any sign of danger. The containment fields flickered, but the cores began to pulse faster, agitated by their presence. We need to shut these down, Elias said, scanning the controls. Mara found the manual shutdown sequence. It's risky, but it might work. They worked together, carefully inputting commands while Arinya held the system steady. Then, alarms blared louder. Guards poured into the hallways, their footsteps pounding. We've been discovered, Elias shouted. The team split up, some covering Arinya, others pushing toward the exit. Elias fought back panic and focused. Arinya, can you finish the shutdown? I'm close, she said, sweat on her brow. Just a few more seconds. Outside, the lab, security forces moved fast. But just as the first guards reached the door, the containment fields began to collapse. The cores went dark, their power fading. The lockdown lifted. Arinya collapsed to the floor, breathing hard. Elias helped her up. You did it. But the station's alarms won't stop, she warned. They'll send reinforcements. We have to get out, Elias said. The team raced back through the corridors, fighting through patrols and dodging laser grids. Finally, they reached the cargo bay where the Wayfarer waited. Elias slammed the hatch closed behind them and punched. The launch controls. The ship shook as it blasted away from the station, the alarms fading into the distance. Safely in space, Elias leaned back and exhaled deeply. That was too close, he said. Arinya nodded, her voice soft. Novaspire won't give up so easily. Elias looked at her. Then we have to be ready, for them, and for the Veltrax. Arinya's eyes glowed brighter. And we will be. The stars stretched out before them, silent witnesses to a battle that had only just begun. The stars outside the Wayfarer shone cold and distant as Elias Rowe sat in the cockpit, staring at the control panel but not seeing it. Arinya stood beside him, her blue skin glowing softly in the dim light. There was a weight in the air neither of them could ignore. The seal is weakening faster than I expected, Arinya said quietly. The Veltrax will break free soon. Elias ran a hand through his hair. We've stopped Novaspire's experiments, but this is bigger than any of that. Arinya nodded. The vault is the last barrier. If it falls, the Veltrax will spread through the galaxy, and no one will be safe. Elias looked at her. Is there any way to strengthen the seal? There was a long silence before she answered. There is a way, but it will cost me. Elias frowned. What kind of cost? Arinya's eyes glowed, with a soft blue light. I must merge my consciousness permanently with the Vault of Echoes, become its guardian, a living part of the seal. He blinked, trying to understand. You'd stay there forever? Yes, she said. I will protect the vault from inside, keep the Veltrax locked away, but I cannot leave freely again. Elias swallowed hard. There must be another way. Arinya shook her head. There isn't. This is my debt to you, to all who helped me. I was saved once, and now I must save countless others. Elias looked away, feeling a mix of admiration and sadness. You don't have to do this alone. I do, she said softly, but I want you to know, it's my choice. The ship moved silently through space as Elias thought. Then, an idea came to him. What if I take the vault somewhere, far away? He asked. Beyond the Veltrax's reach. Arinya's eyes brightened a little. That could work, but it will be dangerous. It will be, Elias agreed. But I'm ready. Together, they made plans. Elias would pilot the vault, carrying it into deep space, far from any civilization. The vault's energy might damage his ship, and the journey would likely be one way. Arinya smiled faintly. You are truly human, always willing to risk everything. Someone, as to, Elias said, for both our futures. They prepared the ship. Arinya connected with the vault's core, sending waves of energy that pulsed through the Wayfarer. The crystals embedded in the hull began to glow, lighting the ship from within. As the vault's energy flowed into the ship, Elias felt a strange pressure, like the weight of centuries pressing on him. Arinya's voice came softly through the comm. I will hold the seal from inside the vault. You must keep it safe. Elias nodded, gripping the controls. I will. The engines roared as the Wayfarer launched into hyperspace, carrying the vault beyond all known space. Stars stretched into lines as the ship sped through the void, but suddenly the ship shuddered violently. Something's attacking us, Elias shouted, fighting to keep control. On the viewport, shadowy shapes appeared. Veltrax drones, sensing the vault's movement. Defensive. Systems online, Elias yelled. The ship's shields flared, pushing back the drones. Lasers fired from the hull, blasting the attackers. Arinya's voice was steady. Hold on, I am stabilizing the vault's energy. The battle raged through hyperspace. Elias dodged and weaved, his years of experience guiding him. Finally, the last drone exploded into stardust. We made it, Elias breathed. Arinya's voice softened. The vault is safe for now. But Elias knew this was only the beginning. The Veltrax would not stop hunting. He looked at Arinya. Thank you for trusting me. She smiled, glowing brighter. And thank you, Elias, for being more than I expected. The stars outside were silent witnesses to their promise. a promise to protect the galaxy from a threat born long before humans or Lurans walked among the stars. Together, they moved forward, carrying the weight of past debts and future hope. The stars stretched endlessly around the Wayfarer as it glided silently through deep space, carrying the weight of the Vault of Echoes within its hull. Elias Rowe sat in the pilot's seat, his hands steady on the controls but his mind restless. Beside him, Arinya's blue skin shimmered softly in the dim light, her eyes full of calm strength. For days, they had journeyed far beyond any charted star systems, seeking a place where the vault could be hidden from the Veltrax, those ancient machines bent on destruction. The distance was immense and the solitude pressing, but both knew the cost was worth it. "Are you sure this will keep the Veltrax away?" Elias asked quietly, breaking the silence. Arinya nodded. "If the vault remains here, beyond their signal range, the seal will hold. They will not find it." Elias exhaled slowly. "And you? What will happen to you?" She looked out the viewport, where a distant nebula painted the void with colors of purple and gold. "I will remain part of the vault. My consciousness will guard it, protect it from inside. It is a sacrifice, but one I choose." Elias looked at her with deep respect. "You are the bravest person I have ever met." Arinya smiled softly. "You taught me the meaning of sacrifice, Elias. I only follow your example." The ship hummed quietly as it continued on its course. Then, a soft beep interrupted the calm. Elias checked the console. Sensors detect an incoming ship. Arinya's eyes narrowed. "Veltrax?" "No," Elias said, relaxing slightly. "Human." The ship approached slowly, a small scout vessel. Elias hailed them immediately. "This is Captain Elias Rowe of the Wayfarer," he said. "Who are you?" A calm voice responded. "Commander Lyra of the Galactic Peacekeepers. We received your distress signal." Elias glanced at Arinya. "We didn't send one." "Then someone is tracking the vault," Arinya said. "We must be cautious." The Peacekeepers' ship docked and a small team boarded. They were armed but not hostile. Their leader, Commander Lyra, stepped forward. "We've heard rumors about the vault and the Veltrax," she said. "We want to help." Elias studied her carefully. "Why should we trust you?" "Because the Veltrax threat is bigger than any one species," Lyra answered. "If it wakes, it will destroy us all." Arinya nodded. "Unity is our only hope." After a long discussion, they agreed to form an alliance. The Peacekeepers would spread the warning across the galaxy and help protect the vault's location. Elias felt a surge of hope. Humanity was not alone in this fight. Days later, with new allies beside them, the Wayfarer made its final approach to a hidden star system, a place shielded by natural nebula clouds and distant from trade routes. "This will be home for the vault," Arinya said, her voice soft. They landed on a small rocky moon where the vault could remain safe. As Elias helped secure the vault's protective field, Arinya prepared to merge fully with the Vault of Echoes. "Are you ready?" Elias asked, his voice thick. She smiled warmly. "For the future, for all of us." She placed her hands on the vault's surface. A soft blue light spread from her fingertips and her form began to shimmer and fade. "Thank you, Elias," she whispered. "For everything." Elias watched as she became one with the vault, her essence joining the ancient crystal memories, and the powerful seal. The vault pulsed gently, protected and alive. Elias took a deep breath. Though Arinya was gone in body, her spirit lived on, guarding the galaxy's future. He turned toward the waiting peacekeepers. "This is not the end. It's a new beginning." Commander Lyra smiled. "And together, we will face whatever comes." The Wayfarer lifted off the moon. Elias felt the stars welcoming them, not as distant points but as a vast, shining family. Humanity had proved once again. Even in the darkest silence, hope, courage, and unity could light the way.